welcome to Thinking Women,
the intelligent conversation show.
I'm Mags, and welcome to what is our second show. So over 2,500 of you tuned in to our December show, which is brilliant. So thank you so much to everybody.
Yes, thank you guys, it's amazing. So I'm Lou, and as you know, all of our shows are sponsored. So a huge thank you to MDV Limited for sponsoring this month's show.
We've also got some wonderful guests lined up today. So fitness consultant Charmaine Cameron-Webb will be talking to us about why those January resolutions are just so hard to keep. And we've also got makeup artist to the stars Keira Latham-Byrne, who will be showing us how to create the perfect eyebrow.
And later, Mags will be talking to international marketeer and businesswoman Rachel Hammond, all about our high street and whether children can be used in marketing on the internet.
It's quite a big issue, that.
Yeah,
so
big one.
it'll be interesting. But first, what has been in our inboxes this month?
Well, Mags, the inbox has been on fire yet again, and I've just picked out this one because I just want everybody to have a look at this picture right now, and just have a think. What do we think about that?
So, firstly, what is going on there? Is this lipstick?
Okay,
or is this something else?
It's fillers, and it's a look called devil's lips, apparently, and it's big in Russia. And heading over here, I do believe.
Heading over here.
I do believe.
Okay.
Should we choose to take it up, ladies? That is the thing.
Have you seen any of this on the high street yet?
Not locally. I haven't seen anybody wear it with those lips, but yeah. I just think, how do they eat? How do you eat with those lips?
Yeah,
or kiss somebody, or
it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I love a bit of lippy, but there are practical limitations to it. And so things like playing musical instruments as well. You know, if you play a clarinet or a flute or a trumpet, then how are you going to get on with that? So yeah, it'll be interesting what happens with that.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts on that one.
Definitely.
So Lou, what else?
Yeah, what else? Well, we've also been looking at this candle.
The candle. Okay, I have heard about the candle.
Okay.
This is the Gwyneth Paltrow candle.
Yeah, for sale on her Goop website, and the candle is called Smells Like My Vagina.
Okay, right.
So thoughts on that, please? I've had a lot of negative thoughts, people coming to me saying, it's outrageous, what's she doing? It's just wrong on every level. What's it teaching young people? Generally, I've only more or less read negative stuff. What
it's interesting though, isn't it? Because it's pushing the boundaries of marketing. So presumably, you know, Gwyneth's someone most of us have heard of. So she's obviously thought, well, I can sell anything because people will buy her brand as opposed to what it is. It's actually sold out. So we tried to get one in the studio, but we couldn't. They're all gone. So she's obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting move, isn't it?
Well, she does a lot of selling via her vagina, if you like to say, because she's famous for these jade balls that she's been selling. So she has become known. I just want to read this out though, because I want you to all know, because we couldn't have it here. Do you want to know what it smells of?
Go on. What does it
Sorry, I just need to read my notes. It her vagina smells of geranium, citrusy bergamot and cedar absolutes juxtaposed with damask rose and ambret seed.
Okay.
Sounds nice.
So on that note, if anyone does have one of these candles at home, please write in and tell us what you think. Anyway, moving on. So last time we were talking about the search for the perfect non-alcoholic drink, and we might actually have found it. So what have we got here today?
Well, we talked about the Arbonne Fizz Sticks last time, didn't we? Which I am totally addicted to because they're like a natural energy drink, essentially. So they come in lots of different flavours. But they've just launched this rosé champagne flavour, and the box is cute. It looks like a champagne kind of bottle.
Champagne in a box.
In a box, in a small box. And it looks orangey though.
It does. Yeah, not perhaps the rosé that we think.
No.
Should we have a taste?
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, cheers.
Santé.
Let's see how this is. It's actually quite nice. It's quite dry. Because we were talking last time about some of these drinks
being
too sweet.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but it's quite dry, and it's full of vitamin B12, isn't it?
B vitamins, guarana, ginseng.
Yeah.
So it's sort of really good for you. So it gives you a real natural lift anyway. But it's quite rosé-ish. I'm not tasting champagne.
No,
I'm
no.
tasting rosé though.
No, it's nice. It's nice, definitely a good option.
Okay.
So I'd check that out if you're still on the hunt, if you're doing dry January, or you're just looking for a nice soft drink.
So first up, we've got Mags chatting to international businesswoman and marketeer, Rachel Hammond.
So welcome to Rachel Hammond, international marketeer and businesswoman, who's here with us today to talk about some of the current issues we're facing. So one of the things that's been in my inbox is high streets. What is happening to our high streets? Rachel, what do you think about this?
I have got quite a lot to say about high streets, to be fair, but I'll be quite brief. I live in the city where I work and run my business, where I raise my children.
And which city?
I live in Truro, in Cornwall, and if anyone has been to Truro recently, they will see that it's a little bit of a struggle. There are lots of people using the city, lots of amazing, creative, proactive businesses, but the high street is changing, and I think we need to have some thinking and some joined up thinking about how we're going to preserve our high streets and keep people using them.
And obviously Truro is a tourist destination.
It is.
So we've got an influx of people coming through the city. So what actually is going on? What is it that's the struggle? Is it the parking, or is it the shops? I mean, what is happening?
It wouldn't be fair to say that it's just Truro. I think any high street around the county and around the country is facing a change, actually.
Yeah.
But we do have unique issues in Truro, which are parking and restrictions on parking. We have the highest level of business rates, I believe, in the country. These are set nationally. We don't have any influence. We don't have any say in the structure. But these very, very high costs keep big businesses coming in. We had Primark arrive 2 years ago. We have Wilko's, we have Marks and Spencer's. But actually, of the very, very many small independent businesses, to be fair, the businesses that people want to see, unfortunately, we're losing some of them, and I think that's a real shame.
Yeah, and obviously the internet as well is responsible for some of that business coming away from our high streets. And it's a tricky one because obviously the internet is so convenient, but we still want to keep our towns and our high streets alive.
And I think we also need to think that we need our community spaces. And I'm as guilty as anyone of spending my time on my phone working, chatting, using my computer. I do have an office in town, but you'll also see me at coffee shops around town because it's just nice to be around people. And I think that as our working patterns are changing, as the way we spend our time is changing, we still really need these community spaces. But in a town like Truro, if it's a 9 to 5 town and it's not speaking and giving a service to people outside of those working hours, then I think there needs to really be some thinking.
And the community thing is very important, isn't it? So it's people that are retired, people who do work from home. I know I do it, so I work from home quite a lot, and then occasionally I'll just think, I need to get out, I need to see real life. And I'll go to the supermarket, and instead of using the self-checkout, I will go and speak to somebody who's working there, so that obviously I have some human contact.
And sometimes those are the only conversations you have in the day. When my children were small and toddlers, I really appreciated the conversations I had at the bank or in the queue at the supermarket.
So it's vital, isn't it? It's a vital lifeline for many people. So just moving on from that, so you run your own business.
I do.
And we were talking earlier that you came to that through Mumsnet, which was a community that you didn't find in real life, as it were, or sort of, day-to-day life. So you found that online. So how did that come about? And tell me a bit about your business.
I'll give you the condensed version. That I worked as a journalist for many years before I had my children. And when we relocated to Cornwall, I found myself with a toddler and a newborn baby. It was an unexpected change, and I'll be really honest, Cornwall in the winter, lots of people, we go into our homes, we close our doors and we spend time at home, and I found it quite a challenge to be in a new place. I'm looking for a school for my son and looking for the basics, and I remembered Mumsnet, and I met a couple of people on an app, or before apps actually, it was called the Meetup Bench, I think, and met 2 or 3 other mums locally. Turned out 2 of them lived very, very close by, and we had children the same age, and it's been part of my community ever since. So when I was offered the chance to be a community editor and set up a group for mums at home in Cornwall to help them get to know their community better, then I put myself forward for that, and that gave me the confidence over the years to think, actually, I was self-employed as an editor. I was self-employed working with Mumsnet. Actually, what I need to do is to set up business for myself and have the flexibility that I desperately needed around my children, but also the professional fulfilment that I wasn't really getting and was struggling to find.
So there's a theme there, isn't there? Sort of the community being able to get out and go to the cafes, but also online as well. So they've both got that part to play, which is interesting. So talking about online, now influencers on Instagram, you've probably seen that there's a number of people who successfully post pictures of their lifestyle. They have lots and lots of followers. So things are possibly about to change. So at the moment, influencers are outside of marketing regulations, but apparently that might possibly not be the case going forward. So what are your views on this, Rachel?
Well, as an industry and as practitioners, we've been watching really closely in the last 5 to 7 years. There's really been an explosion of mummy bloggers and travelling blogs. We've seen YouTube become used not just by the younger generation, but by their parents and by businesses as well. But people that are influencers, so they're presenting their lives to an audience that actually sits outside of regulations. And while it's a great resource to work with as a marketer and as a PR and as a business, if you get endorsed by one of these people, there is a grey area, and I think it's looking like the challenges are going to be reviewed, and we'll have a bit more regulation, which I think personally is a good thing.
It can be quite lucrative for these people,
Very
with
lucrative.
people who've got sort of millions of followers, and they're essentially posting photographs of their day-to-day lives, which is obviously, it's up to them, but it's when their children are involved as well. And I know a number of them do use photographs of their children. It's whether those children have got, what are their rights, especially as they get older.
Absolutely, and we talk a lot about privacy and privacy rights, and there's a huge difference, isn't there, talking about a newborn baby or a toddler, and then that child grows up, and certainly my children are teenagers now, and they would not be thankful for me talking publicly about any of their lives, and that's fine, and I respect their privacy. But also technology has changed, and I do a lot with tech at work, and we're looking at facial recognition software now. So as a mum, I have concerns about where this might go and the problems it might pose for children. And we also have a responsibility to think about mental health issues and the exposure that anyone that we're working with, and it's not always a comfortable place having the camera on you.
Absolutely, and some of these children become quite high profile, don't they? Not through their own choice. So it can become an issue for them, presumably at school, if their friends know what's going on. And
I think because we've got young users now, I think children are starting to have a voice, and we've got very, very young bloggers and YouTubers. But certainly Clemmy, mother of daughters, who there was quite an explosion recently, a bit of a backlash, where she hadn't been entirely clear about what her involvement was with products and with sponsors. And it's triggered a lot of discussion, but it's really timely.
Yeah. So thank you, Rachel, for coming on the show. That's all brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
And if you've got any thoughts on anything we've talked about today, get in touch.
So now it's time to talk about brows. So maybe in the last 5 to 10 years, brows have become the big thing that everyone's talking about, how they frame your face, how they change your face, how they make you look more wide awake. So we've got the wonderful Keira Latham-Byrne from No. 3 Lash and Brow Bar in Truro, who's going to be doing Mags's brows. Now Mags hasn't taken notice of the last 5 to 10 years and has never had her brows done. So this is great. So she's a brow virgin, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I think it's something to do with my little twins actually and being busy. But I'm sure there's lots of other mums out there who are the same. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So fair dues. If you're very busy and your mum, probably having your brows done is not high on your agenda.
Up there on the priority list.
But Keira,
but it could be.
Why should it be?
Because it just frames your face. Without good brows, then your face just doesn't look right. And it brings symmetry to your face as well, and it really opens up your eye area. I think your eyes are your femininity. So for a woman, it's really important to focus on the eye area. And the brows are the start of that. And when you've got good brows, the rest of your face just falls into place, I feel.
Amazing. Wow. That's amazing. So, are you going to get going? And
yes.
I think what we're going to do is Keira's going to start and she's going to do one of Mags's brows, because I think it's really cool to see the difference between a done brow and an undone brow. So off you go, Keira.
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is trim, because Mags has slightly longer brows than we need. So we're going to give them a little bit of a trim
Mags,
first.
be brave. You're having your eyebrows cut.
Yes.
I can take
Ooh,
it.
It's quite
Don't worry.
exciting.
We won't take much off, just enough.
Yeah, she's a pro. She knows what she's doing, Mags, don't worry.
We just need them trimmed so they lay nice and neat. And then we'll start working with the shape and the powder and everything.
And Mags is very fair.
Yes.
So when you've got a lady who's very fair, and Keira and I used to work together, so I know a bit more about brows brows than I used to. So I've got quite unruly brows and dark brows. So, you know, I had to learn how to manage those. But I know from learning from you, Keira, that obviously people who are very fair and people who are dark have different issues with their brows, don't they? And a lot of fair ladies, I think, are a little bit more nervous maybe
I
than
think
having...
they are, because I think that's possibly because in the past they've had bad experiences where the brows have been too dark. And obviously when you're fairer, you want them to be a nice light brown colour.
And also, I don't know what you think about this, Mags, but that whole, I think it came from the north. I don't know if it's unfair to say this, but there was the slug brow thing, the big,
The
thick,
scouse brow.
The scouse
The
brow.
scouse
Well,
brow.
there you go.
Is that a term?
Yeah.
We're northerners, we are.
are.
It was a scouse brow, and it is, isn't it? I don't know if
Yeah.
it still exists, Keira, but that big, thick brow. And I think people were scared that if they went to a brow specialist, that's what they were going to come out with.
Yeah.
And also, when you are fair, then I'm quite conscious that yes, I do highlight my hair, but my hair matches the colour of my eyebrows. And if you start making them darker, is that going to look a bit odd?
Well, I think what we tend to do, especially if it's your first visit with us, is we do it as naturally as possible. And we tend to match it to the dark tones in the hair, because then it matches in. So with Marketeer, what we'll do is match it to the colour tone here, the darker tones. And then it doesn't look out of place, it looks like a natural brow.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you know what interesting when you say about being blonde? When I was a child, younger, I had very blonde hair, probably like your colour, Mags, actually. But I always had very dark eyebrows. I had really dark eyebrows and blonde hair. And a man once came up to me in the street, I was probably about 12 or 13, and just said, "Excuse me, do you dye your eyebrows?" This random man.
Whereas these days, that's fairly common, isn't it? People actually going permanent and dyeing them.
Yeah.
Or semi-permanent.
Yeah, we do in the salon. We do lots of treatments for brows because that's our forte. So we do everything from just the basic shaping, and we do threading and waxing, right through to microblading, which is a semi-permanent makeup for the brow, which lasts 12 to 18 months.
And that's really great, isn't it, for people who've lost hair on their brows to age, or maybe chemotherapy or something like that?
Yeah, or alopecia. We have lots of ladies that have had alopecia or been through chemo, or are about to go through chemotherapy. And it's great because obviously if they lose their hair, they keep the brows.
Yeah, and it's beyond just a beauty thing. It's about confidence and self-esteem then, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all about making you feel just a little bit more confident, a little bit better in the mornings.
Well, it is amazing.
We all need that, don't we?
Yeah.
And the great thing is, here, Keira, you're doing a makeup.
Yes.
For the sake of the TV show, you're doing a makeup. You're not actually doing a permanent tint or any of them all.
No.
So
this
Mags
will come off.
could take it further and have her brows tinted properly, and
if she likes the look of this, then I mean, when you first come in for an appointment, we can do this for you where we do the makeup so you can see what it looks like on you. But the shape is very bespoke, so it's to fit everyone's face shape. They're all individual. No one shape fits all. So.
And that's really important for people to know, to have confidence in coming to someone like yourself, Keira, because I think going back to what we're talking about, the scouse brow, that people think they're going to have just, I tell you what I've seen, those templates. Have you seen those templates? I've seen them on Instagram where people kind of like, I don't know, have a shape, and I don't know what they do, colour them in with a felt pen or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's very common as well. But again, it's not one shape fits all. It's like everything. Every single one of us are completely different, so you need a different brow. not one brow fits
And so
all.
what are you doing with Mags particularly?
Well, this
What's
is
her
just
special? So obviously
at the moment
she had
I'm
to have
just
them trimmed.
Yeah, and now I put some powder on and some pencil to blend through. And now I'm just putting some highlighter on just to highlight the brow bone, just to open up the eyes and lift them.
I like lift the arch kind of thing to open.
Yeah.
That's what I love. What I learned about having great brows is it does make you look more awake
Yes.
and younger, because
Yes.
if you have loads of hair growing down here, it's kind of...
It drags the eye area down, whereas this opens the eye area up. And that's, as we get older, that's what we need.
Yeah, I mean,
Little
not
bit
that
more.
any of us around here are.
But without looking surprised or
Or Scouse.
scouse.
And I can say that because I am from the Northwest.
Well, all three of us are, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Professional Northerners here.
Yes, yeah.
No, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Okay,
How are you
so-
feeling, Mags? Are you feeling?
I'm feeling fab, yeah.
So already you can see that this is opening the eye area up and lifting this area as well. Also, I find the fuller the brow, the more youthful the face looks. Because if you have very skinny, tiny brows, it's quite aging, I think. So. Yeah.
Oh, blimey. You know, when I was in my teens in the 80s, the skinny brow? Who
Yeah.
remembers the skinny brow?
I remember that, yeah.
Who invented that? So now, and I think maybe for some
Madonna.
of us... Was it Madonna's fault? Okay, we'll blame Madonna for everything.
Yeah.
Her and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
But so I think for some of us, having been brought up on the skinny brow, even if we knew it was kind of not a great look, to go to a full brow that is modern now is quite a big step. And I think
Yeah.
maybe that's some of the fear that people enter into, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, there are brow trends, obviously, throughout the decades. But again, in the salon, we try and do whatever complements that person's age, face, skin tone, and their outcome that they would like from their brows as well. So.
Yeah, brilliant. So I've been following on Instagram the brow trends, and I'm brushing my brows up now. Like, I'm brushing still.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
the new thing, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It's called brow lamination.
Okay.
Or brow lift, as some people call it. But yes, it sets the brows upwards because that's the new trend.
I'm
But
doing as much lifting on my face as I can. So are we done?
yes, I've
So
just
that looks-
I've just done quite a natural look because I don't want anything too heavy or too harsh. But I think
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice.
If you could be any more
Yeah.
beautiful, Mags, you are now. Thank you.
Are you going to do the other one?
yes,
Brilliant.
you can do the other one so you don't go out lopsided.
So stay till the end, so we'll see Mags's other brow done too. Keira, thank you so much. That
That's
was
okay.
absolutely fascinating.
No problem.
And
Thank you for having me,
joining us.
ladies. Thank you.
Mags, they look fantastic.
Do you think? Yeah, I'm
Are
really
you converted?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, definitely.
You're converted. I
Yes.
hope you are, because they look fantastic.
Thank you. So, have your January resolutions waned? It's always so difficult to keep up those good intentions. Here's Lou and Charmaine with more.
Oh, thanks, Mags. So I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Charmaine. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Charmaine, so why? Why do we do these New Year's resolutions for fitness and health, and kind of why do they go wrong usually?
Well, I think everybody wants to think new year, new you, a complete overhaul. You know, we've all overindulged after Christmas. We've all sort of, drunk more than we want to. And I just think that in too many cases, we overextend ourselves. So be it that, okay, I want to walk 10,000 steps daily, that's my New Year's resolution. Well, if you've got a sedentary job, just getting 2,000 in daily is really difficult. Overhauling diets, stopping drinking, that's a big one, dry January. And I think that if we're all trying to do everything at once. So if you start out with really small goals that you know you can achieve, that might seem overly achievable. So for example, 2,000 steps instead of 10,000. If you've committed to, right, I'm going to exercise for 6 days a week for 1 hour a day, just tell yourself, right, 3 times a week for 20 minutes a day. Things that you know that when your mind tells your body, do this and you achieve it, those small wins can be really, really good and mentally you sort of learn to trust yourself.
And is it all in there then, really?
Oh,
Part of it is
absolutely.
it's a mental challenge. So not be too extreme.
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying, we go too extreme. We go huge,
Sure.
eat everything, drink everything. nothing
Yeah.
on every level, and the
Sure.
brain just close down on it, I suppose.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so. For example, if you've had a stressful day at work, and usually your release is a glass of wine, but you've told yourself, actually, no, I'm not going to drink anymore for January, and you go home and you have a juice. You're not getting the same feeling. You know, the whole day you're worrying about the fact that, okay, well, I've had a really stressful day. Usually I have a wine. I can't have a wine. Then that's going to lead you to poor eating habits. You might not exercise if you exercise after work. So yeah, just give yourself small goals and achieve those goals, and then move on to the larger goals.
Yeah, and pull back. Yeah, like you're saying, maybe pull back and just do what's right for you, and take some advice as well. You know, I think we can, like you're saying, with social media, we can look out there, and it's like everybody's doing everything quicker and better and faster and
Right.
Whereas actually, if you just look at your own life and just
Absolutely. And I think support, support is massive. So you said, talked about getting help, and, sort of getting the help of a trainer. They can be expensive, but, as a starting foundation, they can be really helpful. They show you how to they show you proper exercise technique. They can talk to you a little bit about your nutrition. And if that's something that you don't want to do, getting the support from your spouse, having the support of a friend. There's online groups that you can join where there's support there too. So that's massive. If you've got the support, it also helps you to succeed.
Yeah, I can see that's absolutely massive. Just having that, like you said, that support and a community and a bit of accountability. Yeah. You're gonna stay on track, aren't you? If you are on your own, I've done it myself. You just think, oh, sod it, sure. I don't get. Nobody can see me having this glass of wine and eating this chocolate. So no.
Sure. Yeah,
and that naughty fairy comes out. That's what happens with me. You sort of like, if you deprive yourself too much, then you just kind of,
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing, we demonise foods, and we've got, like you say, you've got the devil and the angel on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And you think, oh, if I've done something wrong, that's it. Now the whole day is shot, or the whole week's shot. And just, learning from that and knowing what your trigger foods are, knowing what your trigger environment is, and just sort of leaving it behind if you've made a mistake or, gone off your diet or exercise schedule, and just moving on, learning from it and moving on.
So what do you do? What do you actually do?
Well,
for your January, how do you, I want to take some top tips from you as a personal trainer and a nutritionist. What do you actually do yourself?
Okay, well, I've got a little acronym that I live by, and I call it SPAM, which is probably for the health and fitness industry, not a very good acronym. But so S is specific, P is planning and preparing, A is attainable and realistic, and M is measurable. So being specific, knowing exactly what my goals are, what my clients' goals are. Be vague and say, I just want to lose weight. It is not enough. You've got to know what you want to do and why you want to do it. And then planning and preparing is paramount. It's really important that the people who succeed most in their health and fitness goals are the people who plan. So, for example, if you get home after a stressful day and you are hungry, ravenous, and you open the fridge and, you've got packaged ham, cheeses, things that are so easy to grab, a slice of, a piece of, that can be the start of, a slippery slope. So just preparing your meals beforehand so you've got your healthy meal ready to go. Getting up in the morning and having your workout gear folded on top of your trainers, ready to go, so that you're not scrabbling around in the dark, trying not to wake up partners, children, etc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's ready to go. No excuse, get it done in the morning. That's another thing as well, getting it done in the morning. It's out of the way. Because as we go through the day, I think we all sort of develop these excuses as to why we don't need to exercise. Or I've had a stressful day, or that didn't go so well, and I'll leave my exercise. We all sort of rationalise the reasons why not to. So that's really important. And if you do have to exercise in the evening, go straight from work or before your last appointment of the day to your workout, because going home is the killer.
Yeah.
Going
Slippers
home
on,
and,
that's
especially
the
in
end.
the winter,
Yeah.
when you're sat there in the cozy watching watching the TV, thinking, I've got to go to the gym now, and then it generally doesn't happen. So preparing is massive, and then making sure that your goals are achievable and realistic. So like I said before, just really creating small goals for yourself, and then mentally, when you learn to trust yourself that you can actually perform those tasks and goals, then move on to your larger goals, and measuring is really important. With my clients, if I'm not tracking their progress, I don't know how well they're doing, and it's a bit of a pointless exercise. So tracking progress. We've all got access to apps these days, fitness watches, activity trackers. There's lots of ways out there to monitor your progress.
Thank you so much, Charmaine. That
You're
was
welcome.
absolutely
Thank
fantastic.
you.
So go out there with confidence, guys. Stay fit and healthy in January. Well, that's it for another month. Thanks so much for watching.
It's been great, hasn't it?
Fantastic. So thank you to our guests too, Rachel and Charmaine, and a huge thank you to Keira, because she's donated this month's competition prize, which is a bespoke eyebrow treatment with Keira herself, who's the director of Number 3 Salon in Truro. So for details on how to apply for that competition, have a look on our Facebook page.
And remember to get in touch with what's on your mind. Thinking Women is your show, and we'll see you again in February.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.